transportautoquoter.com. Thank you so much. Now, you know what? Thanks for the note about the audio. So, I don't know why my audio was a little strange before I got started. I had to turn it down because it was too loud. But it seems, is it better now? You can hear me okay? Let me go to the live chat, and I know Mark was in here. Let's see here. He was making martinis. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. TAQ. And so now we're back on track. Mic check 1, 2, 3. We're better. All right, cool. All right. Well, we'll have to go back and watch that. I'll be horrified by the volume, I'm sure, but that doesn't matter because we're through it now. Please do help me wish a very warm welcome once again back on ATI, Michael Seeman of UVeye. Can you see me and hear me okay?
I can hear you and see you. How are you today, Jay?
I'm pretty good. I'm okay. I have to get over that audio volume thing. This microphone just does what it wants. I don't know why. That's life, though. Right?
You're going to overcome it, I'm sure.
Right? And this gets into, because UVeye, this is high tech. Tell us more. What's UVeye, Michael?
So UVeye, great question. Thanks, first of all, for having us. I'm excited to be here again. UVeye is a company that started in 2016. Amir and Ohad, who are the two brothers, the two founders, both from Israel, were over there for an event, and they were getting their car inspected. And normally, if you see the old movies in old times where cars were inspected in the old days, still today probably, with a mirror and a pole, where the guard walks around and looks underneath the car for bombs and anything that's suspicious, they basically looked at each other and said, hey, we can automate this process. And both of them being computer science engineers, a year later, UVeye was formed for Homeland Security. And it actually UVeye stands for Under Vehicle Eye. So we started in the Homeland Security business. Actually, really cool story. The Freedom Tower in New York City has one of our units in it today. If trucks drive in, vehicles drive in all day long, they get a complete undercarriage scan so they can make sure there's no anything suspicious coming into the Freedom Tower in New York City.
Wow. You know what? I hadn't heard the Freedom Tower before. That's really interesting. So then, all right, so Homeland Security background, origins. Now, where is it? What does UVeye do now?
All right, so what we do now is we automate the inspection process. So in October of 2020, there was a decision made to bring the company to the United States. So technically, we're a global company. We have our global headquarters in Tel Aviv, and we have our U.S. headquarters in Teaneck, New Jersey. So in October of 2020, the company came to the United States, and we've been selling basically a little over 3 years to the OEM sector, the fleet sector, the auction sector of automotive, and also more importantly, more volume, I should say, not as important, but a bigger volume is the dealership space. So we automate the vehicle inspection process from the OEM, fleet, auction, all the way down to retail.
So it would seem then that I'm going to pull up the graphic of the unit because when you see it, just the image says a lot.
Yep.
You drive through it, the vehicle drives through it. How long does it take to drive through?
Well, you can go anywhere from 5 to 20 miles an hour through the system. And
so that fast, it's capturing, it's scanning?
Yeah, go ahead. So there's three main components to the system. So there's the arch, people call it. It's called Atlas Light. That takes care of the exterior scans of the car. Then you have, because there's 4 cameras you can see on the sides, and then you have cameras underneath the arch as well. And then underneath, you can't see it here, but there's the undercarriage piece called the Helios. That's where the company started in the Homeland Security. When you drive over it, it's going to capture the entire undercarriage of your vehicle. And then on this, both left and right sides is for our tire and wheels, where we tread depth, wheel damage, etc. So vehicle drives through, and 95% of the time, these systems are put in the service drive of the dealership. There's some situations we have them in recon centers and other locations for vehicle inspection or for used car appraisal, but the majority of them are in the service drive. And as soon as you drive through, within 30 seconds to a minute, a condition report is created. As I kind of mentioned last time on your show, our dealers, fleet, auction customers, OEMs, they're managing assets all day long, right? This vehicle that you're seeing, this Cadillac Escalade, is an asset, right? So our goal is to help understand the value of that asset, whether it's in the service department, whether it's being appraised for a used vehicle for a vehicle acquisition or trade-in, or if this is a new vehicle that's coming off the truck, that came from the manufacturer on the carrier, got off the truck, and is going through the pre-delivery inspection process. We're automating that entire process for our customers today.
Wow. And so what is the output then? What does the dealer, the auction, what are they receiving?
Right. So they're getting a condition report it's like, you've probably heard us say the word MRI for the vehicle. We're basically showing you anything that's going on with the vehicle from the exterior. So any chips in your glass, any dings, dents, scratches, frame damage underneath the car. Think about it today. If you're a used car manager and you're coming in and you want to trade in your car, Jay, and you want to buy a new one, and I'm the used car manager, I'm going to take the car for a test drive. I'm going to hear the sound of the car. I'm going to take my notepad and walk around the vehicle and see anything visible I can see with the car. Chances are I'm not going to see the roof of the car, so I don't know if you have any hail damage on the car, and I'm definitely not going to look underneath the car, because chances of me having the time to put it in the shop and put it up on the lift with the technician is probably very small. So I have no idea if there's rust under the car, any leaks under the car that are visible to me. What we do is we show all that, and we allow our used car managers to be able to say, okay, if I'm going to take this car in on trade, how can I make sure I get the best value for that vehicle? So we're seeing increases in cash value on the vehicles, $500 to $1,500 ACV on vehicles from our customers today. So it's really helping them to say, okay, do I want to take this car in, retail it again, or do I need to wholesale this car? So where am I in this vehicle?
I think that one of the things going through my mind is that, a lot of people say, well, when it comes to online auction or online acquisition, I can't see the car.
Yep.
So it seems like you're helping solve this you can't see the car physically problem, right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay. And so the scanner unit needs to be installed. I suppose this would be the hard part. The installation, the setup, I don't know. Is it? Okay, but once that's done, you can process. The volume is crazy, but you can.
Oh, yeah, we've got stores that do 3,000 repair orders a month, and they just, they're doing a few hundred cars a day through the system, including inspections, trade-in vehicles. So the toughest part is not the install. It's making sure we work with our customers from a process perspective. How do I make sure that I get every vehicle through the system? And how do I make sure that I show the condition report, the output, to every single customer every single time? That's where they're going to make money leveraging our technology is, okay, how do I help upsell? Because there's 3 T's that we follow in our process: trust, transparency, and time, right? Trust, first of all, as a customer, right? 70% of customers leave the dealership post-warranty because of, in my opinion, trust and transparency with the dealership. They're going somewhere else because they think they're getting a better deal outside of the dealership once they're out of their warranty. Reality is the dealerships at most times are less expensive than these aftermarket locations, but they don't build the trust and transparency. When I first sell a car and I bring the customer in for their first service visit, everything on that condition report may be green. The tires are good, the undercarriage is good, there's nothing else wrong that I'm really going to upsell the customer on. Maybe they're coming in for their 5,000 mile oil change. But I'm building trust with you, Jay, because you just came in and I'm showing you on a tablet, on a PC, or on a 55-inch kiosk what your vehicle looks like. And then that way, because my wife, first of all, will never go to the dealership. She hates going because she says, Michael, when they take my car, they'll put it behind, she calls it the magic curtain, and then they're going to come back out with an MPVI document and say, hey, you came in for this, but we found 10 other things wrong with your car. Well, I don't know that. I can't see the car. Unless you're taking pictures of it and showing it to me, I don't know if that's really my damage. Here, I'm showing you everything about your car right away. So before it even goes back into the technician, as a customer, my mindset is, okay, I may have a leak. I may have an oil leak. I have a bad tire. My tread is off. I probably need to get an alignment, or I probably may need to replace tires. So that's the trust, transparency that we're building with customers for the dealership. But the bigger thing, too, is time. Right? There's only so much time that an advisor has. They're doing so many different things. It's one of the most important and busiest jobs in the dealership. So how do we help them save time by speeding up the write-up process by already having the condition report done for them.
Wow, you changed my mind. That's really interesting. Actually, the magic curtain argument, that is a fantastic example. Do me a favor, we're going to be right back after this. We're going to bring in Samantha and Yaron, so stick around because we're going to be right back.
Yeah, so let's be honest with it. Everybody, as an operator, like myself, we're always looking to save expense, okay? And so if I can get a product that is just as efficient as another product and yet save a ton of money, that's what I'm going to do. And so I think the value proposition that Dealerslink offers is unmatched, right? For what we spend on Dealerslink, for what we get from Dealerslink, full spectrum, the marketplace's support, the OEM data, the Fastbook tool, the mobile applications that you have, the value proposition is huge. And I definitely would recommend, I have recommended, we are continuing to install it into our stores as we speak.
Request a live demo at dealerslink.com now.
UVeye is coming to NADA, and our dealers will be joining our partner panels and sharing their stories.
We've been able to sell more tires. I think we've had a 40% increase in tire sales over the first few months, more alignment. And I think just being able to take care of all that with the customer at one time when they come in is a big deal.
You can talk about the system as much as you want. Until you go see it, it's a whole nother story. You have to see how fast the system is and the customer reactions and how much time we're saving from not putting a car on the rack for 20 minutes. It's really good for the dealers.
It's not your typical drive-through system. This is a full dealership tool. And we've never had anything like this in our business.
2 years ago, I saw UVeye at NADA. I saw the benefits immediately. Normally, I like to go around and spend a bunch of time at different booths, but when I was there, I think it was 2021, I spent my whole weekend there. And I was amazed at the technology, and I could see how it would benefit the service department, the sales department, in numerous different ways.
It also protects us. We have a record of the condition of the vehicle when it came into our service drive. So if it had a dent or a scratch, that's documented. We can show that to the customer.
Stop by the booth this year and see how UVeye is driving the full dealership experience.
UVeye automated vehicle inspections for dealers, auctions, fleets, and OEMs. High-resolution vehicle images revealing the smallest of damages instantly. Booth 2721 West. Is it 2921? 2921. What is going on? Hey, please help me wish a very warm welcome to Samantha Foster and Yaron Saghiv are now joining us live on ATI. Oh, Samantha and Yaron, can you see me and hear me okay?
We can see you and hear you.
We can see you. We can hear you. Gosh,
Yep.
Where do we start? What should we do? We're live. Now what? Samantha, I got a chance to talk to you a couple times. Please say hello and kick us off.
Hi, great. So nice to see everybody again. We're really excited about this show. Michael really kicked it off, giving a good, punch to the trust and transparency that our technology brings to both the dealer and the consumer. And so we're just excited to be here. We have NADA in a week, so we're just prepping for that and getting ready to see a lot of these dealers in person, which is really exciting for us.
Thanks, Samantha. You're on first time on ATI. Please say hello and tell us a bit more about you.
So very happy to be here, and thank you for featuring my image all over the billboards before. Felt very
my
famous.
pleasure.
So thank you for that. First time here, seen the show before, and thank you for having us. And like Samantha said, this is the NADA season, which is the most exciting time of the year for us to have a good jump start and get to work with some new dealerships, new groups, new OEMs. And it's kind of the season where we usually bring a full system to the show, and we have the opportunity to show it to a lot of people that, like yourself, have seen images and videos and can touch it and feel it and hear other dealers that used it and what they think. So very excited for that, and it just gets better and better every year.
You actually pointed something out. When people see UVeye, they do want to touch it and learn more about it. Why is that? Right? Because that's true. That's real. I know first time I saw it, and I heard about the, MRI scanning kind of. What's the secret of UVeye? I guess it goes back to the Homeland Security.
I think the Homeland Security is a nice story, but we've come a long way since, and humbly saying also learned a lot from the automotive industry in the United States, both in terms of how progressive it is and how receptive it is for new technology. So I think the wow factor is when you see it, it's how simple it is, right? It just makes sense of having some kind of detector, scanner, cameras, whatever you want, right? But just that you drive through and kind of tells you anything that's wrong with it rather than assuming or walking around. So it's just a really nice application of AI. Everybody speaks about AI as being a very high up there kind of thing, and or robots taking over the world. But I think that we've got something which is relevant to all of us as car owners, definitely dealerships and other folks in the industry, and utilizing AI in a really positive way.
And Jay, just to add to that, I think one big appeal to it is that it's not something you've ever seen in a dealership before. So you're not used to this big technology in a dealership, and the hardware itself really stands out. So when we walk into dealerships, even ourselves with our UVeye gear, a lot of times both customers and the dealership personnel will come up and talk to us about the technology. I think it's something that, you haven't really seen in the dealership. I worked for a dealership for 10 years. And when this company was brought up to me before I even started working here, I couldn't believe the technology. And I thought, for a long time, I used to read people's reviews and respond to them. And I would call a lot of customers, and there would just be this huge trust gap. So when I saw this technology, I thought, wow, this is the technology that's going to really bridge the gap and bring the consumer closer to the dealer.
And Jay, I would just add to that as well. Is once a dealer sees it, they're impressed with it. To both Samantha and Yaron's point, they also look at it and go, okay, this is consistency, right? Because every organization, whether it's auction, fleet, automotive retail, they struggle with consistency. And the thing that we provide is a consistent experience each and every time. So every vehicle that drives through is getting the same output. And so we can talk a little bit maybe about Amazon, why they partner with us. I mean, because that's a big reason for their partnership with us. Same thing with CarMax in the auction space and some of the large public groups we do business with today, and the private caps and even down to the single point stores, is because we're helping them build consistent processes, not only in service, but also on the variable side as we're launching more into the used car sales appraisal, and also looking into the F&I space on how we can help generate additional F&I products leveraging our technology too.
I will say, and I look at it, it seems like there's several components, and we don't need to get into the minutia there, but there's a lot this is a pretty smart system. This is it's not a simple operation, but it's simple enough once you set it up, get it calibrated right. How long does it take to do that?
Just a couple of days, a day and a half.
Wow.
At night. We have an install team after hours, put up the hardware, make sure it's calibrated, and then we start sending our academy materials and videos to start training the team. So within several days, without disturbing the current operations, this can be up and running, and as part of the process of the check-in process of the store for service, but also running every trade and appraisal, and also using that output for presenting to the customers, but also on a wide variety of things like merchandising photos, like BDC. Part of our theme around NADA is what we call the full dealership experiences. How you can utilize these kind of smart photos and detections and this full condition report that you have now at your hands with every single vehicle coming through your door 24/7, and how can you utilize it for all the different areas of the dealership. So it's pretty efficient the way it's set up, and it's we know how to blend very well into a dealership's day-to-day and make sure it brings a lot of value.
What kind of reactions do you get from some of the folks at these locations after you set it up? You're training them. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What do they say?
So I think it's split. We're one of the only companies that have zero churn in some respects. Like dealers, once they get UVeye and get used to it, don't leave us for many reasons. So it's kind of split with dealerships that are, content in seeing the return. And then you've got the, I would say, 30%, which are really raving fans. And if you guys go to YouTube and just write UVeye, you'll find really exciting and kind of, dealers that are proud of having such technology as their drive, and speaking to customers and asking, what did your first scan feel like? And what did you expect to see below your car? And, we like General Motors, which are one of our investors as well, like to their executives like to say, so I'm actually quoting them, that once you have a UVeye system, your customers are paying more for more services, for additional services, but they're also happier to pay more. So it's a bit contagious once you have this kind of, I like to say, triage experience of driving through. A few seconds later, you get out of the car, full report is waiting for you, and your conversation with the advisor and leadership staff is just much more positive. Even if it does show that you have a bulge in your tire, or a 7-year-old tire, or a repair issue below, or a rim damage that can be restored with wheel restoration. So all these things are picked up by the system, but the customer experience is pretty incredible. So I invite anyone that's listening just to go to YouTube and write UVeye, and you'll see some really cool responses, both of dealership, dealer principals, service directors, used car managers, and also customers themselves.
You want to know, I can add a story to this. So I was in a Volvo dealer in Minnesota, and a woman drove in with her newborn baby, and all she was getting done was having the hatch to her back fixed really quickly. It should only take about 2 minutes, maybe less than that. And she drove through the UVeye system, and she had a pretty significant leak in the underbody. So it was able to detect that right away. They were able to get her and the baby out of the car, let her know what was going on. And of course, they made it a priority and fixed it right away for her. But that's something that she would have not known if they didn't have that UVeye system. So just the safety, piece of it, I think is one thing that is really important to touch on. And at this time, the advisor said to me, he's like, wow, I can't believe that. I can't believe this technology actually does this. He was just flabbergasted by the fact that he just thought he was going to go out, fix this lady's hatch really quick, but actually there was a huge leak in her underbody that she did not know anything about. So it was pretty incredible. Even, the service advisor's reaction to the customer's reaction, she was so thankful. She happily waited in the waiting room for it to be fixed. So it was pretty cool to actually watch this unfold inside the dealership.
I can imagine, okay, right? Because it's a good point. People love their vehicles. And so here you've got this new way of learning more about your car. Have you been UVeyed? It's almost right. This is almost like it's almost like a Pepsi challenge or whatever, where people can feel like they're a part of something new. It's pretty neat. I hadn't thought of that. It's great. So now you are doing demos for prospective dealers, OEMs. Tell me more about what that looks like.
So, I got you. So I run the sales organization. So we've created a sales organization that's coast to coast. We have an East region, a Central region, and a West region. Our goal, so we leverage events, and we also leverage the opportunity to go out and prospect for new customers. So as Yaron and Samantha said, this NADA is like the Super Bowl for us. I know it's going to be played in Las Vegas the week after we leave NADA, but for us, that's our Super Bowl. When you have so many dealers come to the show, it's a great opportunity to display our products. So we'll get a lot of leads from there. But we also use raving fans. You heard Samantha talk about our raving fans. We have so many customers today, clients today, that love us so much that they allow us to come in and do demo days at their locations, where they'll invite other dealers to come in and they'll talk to the dealers about the technology that we provide. So the events that Yaron and Samantha put together, we couldn't be as successful as we are without the marketing team. So I love these guys. My guys and gals in the field love these guys. So it's the marketing events, it's the leads we receive from our website, and it's the opportunity to go out and prospect and really work with customers and show them the value of UVeye. But once they see it, that's the big part. We can do virtual demos, but we really want to get them to touch it and feel it, and that's where our raving fans come into play.
I actually hadn't thought about that. That's really interesting. You do demos at locations that were previous prospects and now customers.
Correct.
Wow, that's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, and we do have something we haven't announced yet, so maybe I shouldn't announce that. Hopefully Yaron doesn't get mad at me. But we do have the UVeye Roadshow that is going to be kicking off in the next month or so, which is really exciting. So we're going to have locations all across the U.S. that you're going to actually be able to walk into, see, feel, talk to advisors, talk to dealer principals, general managers, used car managers, BDC managers, all of the different departments and how they're utilizing our technology.
Wow. Okay, we won't say too much because Yaron's here and he's listening, but that's awesome. So when are you going to be talking more about that? Maybe at NADA or something like that?
At NADA, maybe a couple weeks after. Follow us on LinkedIn. We'll have a lot of updates there on our website. We're going to have a dedicated landing page to it. So we'll make sure that everyone's fully equipped if they're following us.
That's awesome. Now, okay, so I have an NADA question. Do you have a unit at NADA?
We do.
Really?
We do.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh. So, yeah, for anyone that hasn't seen one, because what are the chances you've seen one? You'd have to go to a location. So if you haven't seen the, what do you call it? I was calling it the machine. What do you call the UVeye scanning system? Do you have a name for it? Like,
you call it the UVeye system. It's made out of three components.
It's real complicated. Jay.
Yeah, we have names for each product, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So the UVeye system will be at NADA, and so you can get demos at NADA at booth 2921W.
You got it.
There we go. All right. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Vegas?
Absolutely.
Friday the 2nd, Saturday the 3rd, Sunday the 4th. Okay. Wow, that's pretty exciting. And I'm sure that'll have its own draw. There's the system. Wow, look, kids. Right, like you're going to see Mount Rushmore.
Right.
You've got the system. Wow, that's really neat. All right, so Amazon. Tell me more about the Amazon fleets and maintenance.
Yaron, you want to take that one?
Yaron?
Yeah. So Amazon is a pretty big deal. I think that if you guys have seen some of the publications, they basically decided to adopt our systems to hundreds of their Prime sites. So imagine that Amazon, they run a huge operation, right? If you order anything from Amazon Prime or Amazon, and you expect to get it at your house pretty much anywhere in the United States or also in most countries in Europe, you expect it to be there on time and you trust it. And a lot of it is due to the operations of how they run their delivery systems or delivery stations with third-party providers with, tens of thousands of vehicles ready to come out and get those packages. So we have worked with them for now over 2 years. And we're ready to announce a couple of months ago that we are the chosen technology solution to keep their cars running and safe on the road. We install our devices already in a few dozens of their sites in the United States, in Canada, the United Kingdom, and Germany, in the actual delivery station. So when the drivers come in and out, so in the morning and out in the evening, and they have their route to dispatch the packages, they get consistently scanned. and our systems pick up things like leaks, like broken parts, like a nail in the tire, like even safety hazards, like things like a chipped windshield, or even a bent cargo step that the driver that delivers the package could step on, and if it's in too much of an angle, could slip and hurt himself. So we find all these things for safety, for predictive maintenance, and we make sure that the vehicle is grounded and the tire is changed, the vehicle, or if it's below, or if it's around, like I mentioned, the vehicle is attended to and fixed before it gets to the road, and then we prevent that vehicle from running down or getting into an accident, just by finding that issue before it becomes a much bigger problem. So it's pretty cool. It's a massive operation, and in November we basically announced that this is rolling out to up to 850 Amazon Prime locations all around the world.
You want to know what I think it's really important to note for the fleet side of things? It also being able to detect any of those damage at the end of the route allows them to be able to fix it before the next day. So this way they are not seeing any delay, especially at Christmas time, Prime Day, all of these different pieces. We are creating that peace of mind that they have an opportunity overnight to be able to actually fix those damages and keep their drivers safe on the road.
Yeah, I gotta say, because I remember when I first heard, I don't know when I first heard, but I thought, wow, that's a really big deal. You said it, you're on Amazon, it is a big deal. In that, so with routes and transportation and logistics as part of ATI's core from years ago, message and coverage, is that yes, we assume that we never worry that the truck works, that everything's fine. When I order a package, I don't ever think, is there a problem with the truck?
Right.
But you've got, is it tens of thousands of vehicles? Or how many vehicles? I don't know. Can we ballpark how many Amazon delivery trucks there are? I mean, I don't know. Let me say it this way. I've walked around the neighborhood and seen like 4 at the same time. That's how many Amazon trucks there are.
No, it's definitely 10.
It's okay. It's above 10,000. So that's a lot. And just being... Yeah, go ahead, Yaron.
It's about 100,000 vehicles.
Oh my God, 100,000. That's a crazy number. Just managing that, just keeping track of it, let alone making sure. I can't even fathom the process then. That's an amazing contract.
So go back to what I said earlier about the three T's, Jay. Trust, right? Trust in our data. Transparency, we're showing everything that's going on with the vehicles, and time, right? The time it takes for them to inspect the vehicle every single day with 100,000 on the road. It's like the airline industry. They're making money when their planes are in the air. Amazon is making money when those trucks are rolling and delivering tens of thousands of packages a day. So that we're helping to provide that predictive analytics to keep those vehicles on the road. And if they have to get off the road to be fixed, let's fix them now before they break down, to your point, out in the middle of nowhere where it's going to be a time loss for them.
It seems like in that video and some other material, many folks have honed in on tires, because you need to know about the tires before it's a problem. But how do you know? And so the UVeye system helps in that matter. Can you tell a story, a situation of how that's working, what's happening there?
Sure. So basically, when you drive through, we've got 2 angles, right? Now, it's important to understand as well, what we use is computer vision, meaning we analyze high-resolution photos, which are great for customer experience. There's devices that might use lasers for different tire detection issues. We kind of give you the full suite, both of the sidewall angle and the tread angle, and we kind of read everything with a really kind of high-res presentation. So we can find things like cuts, scuffs, bulges, anything that's, dry rot, anything that's wrong on the sidewall of the tire. We read all the text of that tire, whether it's data for parts to understand the make of the tire, the load and speed, the size. Maybe your parts manager could have a better understanding of what to stock. But we also read something else, which is the DOT and the tire age. So most advisors and people in I would say car maintenance facilities don't get on their knees and read the week and the year of the manufacturing of the tire. But we actually see a variation between 15% to even 40% in some states that tires are over 5 years old. And according to the OEs, all of the OEs, some say 4, some say 5, the tire manufacturers, over 5 years of age, the tire starts to rot, and it's a hazard, and it's got to be replaced. So we are able to indicate that. One of the first things that happens when a dealer installs UVeye is that suddenly a lot of people get more tires and alignments because they didn't know their tires are expired. And that's kind of an education piece. But then obviously we can measure the tread depth. We can find foreign objects like nails or anything that's stuck there and doesn't belong in the tread area. And we can also show you the variation pattern, the patterns of tread between the different valleys. And if we see a difference, we can indicate that the vehicle probably needs an alignment. So all of that bundled up with really high-res photos just seconds after you drive through is kind of what you can expect as a presentation, whether it's for fleet maintenance or making sure we replace that tire before it explodes or whatever happens, or as an education piece for safety for people coming to the dealer, maybe just getting a car wash, or not even understanding there's something wrong with their tire. We've if you ask about stories, I have personally seen situations of literally us saving accidents of extreme, crazy big bulges, chunks of tires that are, kind of bitten out of the sidewall that no one would have even noticed, and the car would have been let out to the road. We see 11, 12-year-old people driving around with 11, 12-year-old tires. That's a really big safety hazard. So we can pick up all of that and make the presentation very objective and transparent in a consistent manner, just like Michael said, to really be the friend of the customer and show him that the machine has found something visually, which is a safety hazard that requires attention. So the customer experience is different, but we also find a lot more variables and we're actually consistently being checked.
So am I right that the AI, when we say AI, because I think there's a point where everybody's like, yeah, how does that happen? What is happening? So AI in this case is as you capture more data, then that's where the learning and the predictability comes in. Do you want to?
Yeah, that's when when Yaron talked about, we set the system up. So it takes us about 2 to 3 days to do an install. And we're installing, we sign a contract, say, Jay, you buy a system for your store, and we can install it within 30 days. Now that we're manufacturing in the United States, Indianapolis, we're manufacturing, really excited about that. And so we install the system 2 to 3 days, work with to Yaron's point, work with the dealer's schedule and how we do the install. But then we let the system run for a couple days, right? Just let cars drive through it, right? They're not using it for anything, trying to upsell, they're just letting cars drive through it so that we can let the AI, the machine learning, continue to see, okay, do we need to calibrate? And we have a team in our New Jersey office, we have a team in Tel Aviv that work around the clock to look at various scans for new customers, existing customers, and make sure that we're calibrating the systems, because we can tune the sensitivity up or down depending on the need of the customer and how sensitive they want to pick up damage and so forth, versus how much, maybe too much is, maybe we're showing too many detections, they want to kind of dial it back a little bit. So we have that capability with our algorithm. So that's where the machine learning comes in once we give it a chance to kind of learn for itself for a few days.
Amazing. Final section, vehicle inspections in the age of EV. Not my words, those are yours. What are we talking about?
So I'll start and then the team could finish up here. But at the end of the day, when EVs come out, there's going to be less things that go wrong with the car. So we know that, right? There's not going to be as many fuel leaks and so forth because you've got batteries now. So our job is to figure out how we can help bring more value to the table for our dealers. We talk about trust and transparency in time, but how do we bring also revenue opportunities? So with EV, the undercarriage of the Helios, which is the undercarriage scanner, we're going to be making that into a thermal capability, infrared, so that it can actually read the temperature of the EV battery, so that we can tell a customer, hey, maybe a couple cells in your batteries are overheating, right? So those are the types of things we're working on right now as we get into the EV space.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that as technology is changing, we're changing alongside of it, right? So we're constantly improving our product to meet the demands of today's consumer. So as the EV market grows, we're going to continue to be able to really embrace that and bring new technology to the table to identify any issues with those vehicles.
Yeah, thermal. That is so smart. Do you also then, I don't know, do you get into like mass, volume, some of these chemistry terms? I mean, I don't know. Do you sit around, do you have brainiacs sitting around thinking, what else could we measure?
We do have brainiacs.
I figure you must. Wow, that is amazing. We're at the 8 o'clock, ending point. So, I mean, really a lot of information. I can't thank you enough for taking the time. Michael, Samantha, Yaron, thank you so much for taking the time tonight on ATI.
Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity.
All right,
thanks for having
me so much.
Thank you very much. All right, I will end the meeting now, and I hope to learn more again soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, that was it. Wow, that was a lot of information, and that's what I was hoping for. I really wanted to learn more about UVeye. I really want to have a microphone that that is consistent and transparent and trustworthy. I'll probably be looking for one soon. In the meantime, I just want to, I'm going to share this image again. The UVeye system, okay, right. And I think it was in the live chat. It's no secret that there are different inspection systems to automate the process. When you're looking at automotive, you're talking about a lot of volume. You need to be able to process fast, accurate, consistent, 360, interior, undercarriage, smell-o-vision, and more. And so there are different versions in the market. I want to get to know every version. I want to get to know any AI that goes into vehicle inspections. It is going to always be a big topic, and especially as I think even in the Vroom news, and I'm sorry about the audio. Again, I don't understand why it needs to change on me, but even in the Vroom news, it's the lack of ability to touch and feel the vehicle that some folks say that is their biggest problem with all of the just online buying and selling. You don't see the car until you've already bought it. But with a inspection system like UVeye, I think that you're approaching the point where that's not the problem. And what UVeye offers for, again, that's the thing, dealers, auctions, and OEM, and fleet maintenance. I mean, that is over half of the ecosystem that UVeye is solving problems for. So, I mean, that is something else. Thanks again, Samantha, Michael, and Yaron. I really appreciate you taking the time. Here in the wrap-up, I want to thank Murphy Auto Transport, Superflow Systems, Dealerslink, Auction V-Commerce, and, of course, UVeye. I hope to catch up with UVeye at NADA. Let's see, Friday, February 2nd. Oh, that's a week from Friday. Man, NADA is right around the corner. So let me just say this. Please do, if you enjoyed some of this program, join me again live on Thursday, where we go back to the transportation and logistics side, carriers, dispatchers, brokers, load boards, and more. That's on Thursday on Dispatching Live. And we'll be back here Tuesday night with Brian Finkelmeyer of Cox Automotive. That's going to be a really interesting conversation, and that's right on the heels, or what? The heels would be after, right before NADA. I don't know. Let me ponder that. Thank you so much for taking the time. I will run the car hauler. Have a good night. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Peace out, everybody.